God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC review, my fair review. One of the very few DLCs that deserves a separate review would be Valhalla. Yes, it was unique, and there are two reasons why I decided to do so and create a separate video. First reason, it has nothing to do with the base game and its campaign. This is a third-person action roguelite. Second reason, it's a free DLC. It literally costs nothing. 99% of AAA or indie devs would make you pay at least $20 for the DLC like Valhalla is. I gotta say it again, God of War Ragnarok in 2024, Valhalla is only $50 with a free DLC. Now let's rate Valhalla properly as it deserves. First section is the story. Story is about Kratos going to Valhalla from mysterious letter invitation. Perfect setting without irritating breaths from main campaign. This is only the god of war alone against Valhalla. He is accompanied by Mimir for lore, quotes, and some funny convos during Valhalla runs. Valhalla looks like the last journey of Kratos as well, so it's a farewell note, at least from these devs. Now, this is how you do a story in a video game. Compared to the main campaign, nothing will interrupt gameplay in Valhalla. Mimir and Kratos will talk during looting and moments of rest only. No whining, very low amount of cinematics, no agendas, the game talks with its atmosphere here. I'm not sure I like the ending of Valhalla, but that's how it is. Far better than the main campaign story of Ragnarok, if nothing else. 7 out of 10 for the story. Next section would be game bugs and optimization. Perfect game, bug-free, smooth, fast loading screens, and balanced to perfection. Extremely responsive controls as well. Pure 10 out of 10. Next section would be game time. It took me around 17 hours in total to finish the game on the hardest difficulty available, so-called Show Me Mastery. To be more precise, not only to finish, but to 100% it all with all the trophies. Replay value is huge, and it depends on the difficulty and the player of how long the game will be. On easiest difficulty, it's probably around 4 to 5 hours long only, or better to say short. So you want time and challenge, you will go for the harder difficulties. Overall, this is one of the best roguelites ever created, or should I say highest quality roguelite I've seen in my life. Roguelites usually belong to AA or indie devs, and it's very rare to see a AAA roguelite, not to mention good AAA roguelite. And you can trust my words here, cause I played every single roguelite in the existence. And there's thousands of them. Now, truth to be told, I wish that this was the main game with much bigger game time. Alas, it's not so. Considering that it's free, I have to give it 10 out of 10 for the game time. Next section is game difficulty. You will need to master Kratos to achieve glory in Valhalla, especially on hardest difficulty available, Show Me Mastery. Of course, Valhalla offers 5 difficulty mods so everyone can play and enjoy the game as they want. Challenge is there, and you will need to learn the game mechanics extremely well if you wanna master Valhalla. What's the best part? Well, no saves. If you die, you start all over again. There is a pressure of failure on every single run. It has nothing to do with forgiving Ragnarok campaign. When you are under pressure of failure, you play better. I died more times in easier campaign of Ragnarok cause I didn't care and I knew the game will respawn me in front of the boss. Here, in case of Valhalla, every single enemy matters. Every quiver of health is important. Every move you make will cost you and properly reward you once you finish with encounters. Your life matters. Your runs can take up to 30 minutes to an hour, where you cannot die, because if you die, you're back at the start. This is a pure 10 out of 10 for the game difficulty. Next section would be maps and graphics. Nothing new with graphics here, everything I said about this section for the main campaign of Ragnarok remains for Valhalla DLC as well. Maps though, well, we finally get to visit Valhalla. And Valhalla will play mind games with Kratos, which will result into visits to ancient Greece as well. Game straight up looks amazing in its second half. There is no mini-map or world map, but here are Valhalla doors that will lead you to different areas and encounters. I loved it, but at the end of the day, map variety is lacking. This had potential to be one of the best roguelites if it had at least 5 times bigger map variety. 9 out of 10 for maps and graphics. Next section is gameplay. Now we're talking pure gameplay oriented God of War game. Non-stop challenge, non-stop pressure, non-stop combat, and nothing but gameplay in this DLC. Everything is covered during gameplay. Mini bosses, big bosses, challenges, risk and reward factors. This is one very good roguelite with amazing combat system and progression. I said roguelite, which also means that for every next run, Kratos will get stronger and stronger, but so will his enemies. During rest time, before you start new run, you'll upgrade, talk with Valkyries and get to know some parts of the story a bit better. Valhalla changes on every next run, in enemies, rewards, bosses, playstyle. It will surprise you with new things on every single next run. 10 out of 10 for the gameplay. It's extremely immersive, fun and addicting. Next section would be leveling and itemization. Same like in main campaign, but better. This time, cause the game is roguelite, you'll get to test all possible builds and combos on every next run. Sometimes game will offer you bigger stagger during runs, sometimes it will be more burn damage for swords, sometimes more range damage for spears or X throws, and you are to make perfect builds with limited amount of glyph slots. Also, that's not it. Once you finish your run, there are perma upgrades in the main hub. Get more currency, raise overall health, raise rage, raise overall stats, then challenges to play with specific weapons and skills where you get additional currency for further upgrades. I mean, every next run will bring something new to the table. I loved it. Items along the way and unlockables are everywhere around you. There is no inflation in this roguelite, so you'll power up very fast. 9 out of 10 for leveling and itemization. Next section would be NPCs and enemies. It's only you and Mimir in 90% of time. The rest 10% goes to some familiar faces from the main campaign and one big surprise later on. Enemies, well, one of the shortest roguelites ever with biggest enemy and boss variety ever. That's how it is. Funny but amazing variety in Valhalla. Enemies are furious, smart, aggressive, challenging. Boss fights in Valhalla are nowhere near as epic cinematic boss fights in Ragnarok, but boss fights in Valhalla are more Souls-like than user-friendly. Unlike in Ragnarok, much more Souls-like to be more precise. There is no room for mistake in Valhalla. What's lacking is big bosses. I don't wanna spoil, but there is only one. Shame. 9 out of 10 for NPCs and enemies. Last section would be music and sound. Perfection, in short. Perfect voice acting, amazing music, one very old familiar tune is included in Valhalla, and great sound effects. Pure 10 out of 10. Final verdict. We got 84 points in 9 sections, and that would be 9.3 out of 10 for God of War Ragnarok Valhalla in 2024. I gave it much better score than for the classic campaign, cause it deserves it. This is by far the best looking roguelite ever created. This is by far one of the best, if not the best gameplay and combat animations in roguelite history. Nearly a perfect score, so what's wrong? Devs, that's what. This should have been 100 hours long roguelite with much bigger enemy and map variety, and bam, imagine deleting the entire Hollywood story from main Ragnarok campaign and changing the story how Kratos dies and has to escape Valhalla, and you get 100 hours long Valhalla game. Imagine that. No irritating NPCs, no children and other Harry Potter crap. From Ragnarok, just Kratos, monsters and bosses all day long with crazy good upgrades and progression system. What we got here in the end is a mini perfect roguelite, and it had potential to reach the stars. Devs really don't know how to do it these days, or they are just afraid to innovate and create proper games with gameplay. as its main focus. Even when they create something good like Valhalla is, they don't know how to market that, how to advertise, and how to make a bigger and better video game out of a brilliant idea. Instead, they opt in for casual games like Ragnarok was. Valhalla is a perfect example how roguelite should look like. Just multiply content with 10 and you get one of the best games ever created. Punishing, hard, immersive, addictive, agenda-free, perfect game I dream about and never happens. Valhalla was close. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.